welcome to Step Up this afternoon. We are so fortunate to have a great guest here today, Coach Wade Anderson from Shorter University, the men's basketball coach. And if you'll recall, we had him once before, so welcome, Wade. We're glad to have you.
Thank you, Marty. I appreciate you having me back.
It's about that time of year when we're about to crank it up in high schools and colleges across the country. And I know the last time you and I talked, you were busy recruiting.
Yeah, no, it's been a very busy summer for us. I've been in the process of hiring assistants, finding grad assistants, and then also trying to fill a roster. We were fortunate enough to have 8 guys back from last year, which is great, a good core group, and then just filling in with enough guys to give us good depth and to help us to be able to compete. So it's been a busy summer.
Yeah, it just never ends. Now that I've stepped into this golf coaching role, I kind of know what you're going through, the roller coaster of recruiting, and in the world today with the portal, gosh, it's tough, isn't it?
It is. It's tough. We've been fortunate. We had some really loyal guys the last couple of years that they stuck around probably when they could have gone somewhere else, and the 3 that specifically stuck around, our seniors, were huge for us this past season, and have 2 of them have gone on now and be playing professionally overseas. But the transfer portal is really shaken up different things. So it makes it tougher. Relationships, like building them in a year or 2, those are become more and more important things.
Man, you use that word loyalty. That's in sports, it seems like with the current just situation, even with this portability of players, I hear from coaches all the time, even in high school and junior high, who are saying players are always moving about, trying to get the best opportunity for them.
Yeah. And I think, it's provided opportunities for people, like if it's not a great situation for them, I think that's kind of the heart of it. But now it's just being used as, well, I'm unhappy here, or I can go somewhere else, or I can go to a better situation. Like it's kind of opened it up for every scenario. Usually what happens is the people who can provide the most are able to get the better kids, and it kind of trickles down from there. So it's changed a lot in the things that we all do, and it doesn't matter which sport.
Yeah. And it's so money now. It's just transactional. What have you got for me? Our guest last week was Robert Moore, who you know down at CSU.
Yeah.
And in a private conversation with Robert, not on the air, he was telling me that the process of the way that you recruit is different. It used to be you would go in their home, sit down at the table, talk with their mother, and say, I'll take care of your son. And now he says when he goes in there, sometimes there's somewhat of an agent involved, and it's, what have you got for me?
Yeah. No, it's not as much anymore about like a good fit. It's what can you provide, all that kind of stuff. Can you get me to where I want to go? It has changed a ton. I'm not sure if it's for the better or not.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I don't think it's for the better. But it's what we're dealing with, It's what we deal with. I know when I recruit kids at Shorter, I'm trying to find out. The first question I ask them: do you want to be here? Do you want to be at Shorter? And it's easy, I guess, to say that, but it would be great to have kids who just wanted to be at your school and believed in the school, and you felt like they were going to be loyal.
Yeah. No, I'm very honest about who we are at Shorter and what we represent. But I think the honesty has always been a big thing for me. I don't sugarcoat anything. We are a Christian school, and we will stand on that, and we're proud of that. And I think most of the guys that we get, they respect that. And honestly, some of them are coming for the fact that they get to grow in their relationship with the Lord. And that's been a big part of it for us. And it's helped us out with a lot of our guys, I think. But I truly think it's just about being honest and upfront with them.
Yeah, I do too. I'm taking the same approach that you are, and I do think Shorter has a lot to offer. It's a first of all, it's a great academic environment. Kids can come here where some of the majors that we have are highly respected. Like, for instance, sports management.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about that sports management degree, and that Professor Durden. I've heard he's the man.
Yeah, we may not be the best looking professors in America, but we definitely will teach you and help you get a job in the sports industry.
That's right.
But I do think Shorter is a great place. You get a great education.
Yeah.
And the kids that I'm seeing graduating, they're going out and getting good jobs, and a lot of them get married, raising families now. And it's just, I think if you're out there listening to this program and you want to come to Shorter, that's definitely a consideration.
Yeah, I think it is, like, we are what we are. We're a Christian school. We're in a great town. Rome's amazing. You're going to get coached. You're going to get loved on, and if you put into it, like, it's an enjoyable process because you get to compete and you get a good education. And I mean, I think it's a great place. It's been great for my wife and I.
I agree with you, and I'm really impressed with our coaching staff now that I'm in it. Getting to know people not from a distance anymore. We have great coaches. It's not just basketball and golf here. We have good coaches who care about their kids, and they're going to teach you the sport, and that matters.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's more than just rolling a ball out or whatever sport that you play. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, but I do think that we've got good coaches with good hearts that know their stuff, and our athletic director has done a great job on putting those people in the right place.
Yeah, I'm impressed with. In case you're out there listening and you're not a Shorter, inside the Shorter culture, we have a new athletic director named Marty Zeismer, and there's been a little confusion, yes, already. And when they say Marty, two guys come running, but he's doing a great job, and I think the culture of Shorter is improved. Not that it was bad, but he just really seems to care. I love Marty.
Well, he understands. He's a former coach who's kind of been involved with the recruiting side and the dealing with players side and running a program side. And so he understands what we have to deal with as coaches, and he's been through it. And he's got the temperament that's perfect for us. And he's done a good job. I mean, in these hiring processes that we've had, he's taken his time. He's found the right people. I think he's done an amazing job.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, tell me what you think about the Conference Carolina. What do you see this year lying ahead? Yeah, when do y'all begin practice?
So we get to start our off-season practice Thursday after school starts. So we start Monday the 24th. We get to start that Thursday after we've done physicals and all that kind of stuff. And we get 4 hours a week of basketball. So we get to start a little bit then, and then kind of full go in October with our 20 hours a week. And so we have a little bit to gear up to then, but we got a lot of work that we have to do. We got 8 new guys coming in to kind of fill in with the other 8 that we have coming back. And we have a lot of stuff to implement, and for the new guys to kind of understand our terminology and what's expected of them. And I think it helps having that amount of guys back, because they can kind of help them to understand what's expected of them every single day, and honestly to help them to understand the league. our conference is going to be tough. And there's been a lot of turnover with transfer portal and players graduating and different stuff like that. But I mean, it's a ton of good coaches, a ton of good teams, and there's so much difference in every team that we play. We play teams that press. We play teams that play really smart basketball. We play teams that run zone. So you just never know, like week to week, like it changes. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think I'm excited about our spot in it. I think we've got a good group coming in, and hoping to kind of build on our little bit of success from last year.
Yeah, y'all had a good, strong year last year. I mean, you knocked on the door, you almost kicked it in, you know?
Yeah, no, we made it to the conference tournament for the first time in, I think, 12 years. So it was a good step in the right direction. We dealt with a lot of injuries and sickness. I mean, there was a couple times last year where I practiced a few times, and we actually won the games that I practiced for. So I don't know if that says anything, but we dealt with a lot, and we were able to get into the conference tournament. So I think the hope and the goal is to get in again. I think that's the goal, and you hope to either host the first round or you make it to the semifinals with an automatic bid. I think that's the goal.
Hey, what kind of team do you? I know that when I was coaching basketball, it was always something that carried over. You know, some of the systems, the defenses, and all that. But a lot of times, based on what personnel you have, you might have to make these changes.
Yeah.
What would you sort of anticipate? Are y'all going to be a zone team, a man-to-man team, fast break? Tell me, pressing team.
I do want to play fast. I think we're built to play fast. We're going to be much longer than we were last year. We were probably, I think, 6'2" at the 3, and at times we were 6'5" at the 5. So we should be 6'8", 6'9" at the 5, 6'7" at the 3, and on down. And I want to play fast. I am a man-to-man person, but I'm willing to play some zone. I would like to play some different styles of zone this year, and maybe add a little bit of press. But we're always going to be able to shoot it. We're going to run some fun stuff offensively that'll open up a few different things. But I want to create some offense with our defense. And I think that's where it all starts, is getting it done and being aggressive on the defensive end. And I think this year the hope is that we can end some possessions a little earlier with the way we should be able to rebound, and the way that we should be able to get after the ball.
Yeah, that's good. If you had to say what percentage of points you scored off transition or off of set offense, would you think it'd be probably on transition then, or
I would last year I would say we probably were about 40% transition, probably 60% half court. But I've always thought, and I think it's just the way that we prep our teams, we're always really good in transition. We work on it quite a bit, but we spend a decent amount of time on the half court stuff too. I want us to be good. Like, if we can get out, we can run. I want us to be able to run. And I think we should have way more depth this year. So I think we should have some legs to be able to get out and go. And so I hope to kind of get those numbers up. I mean, I'd rather score in transition. If it means we're getting stops and getting steals, that would be a great thing.
You know, I think that from a fan standpoint, they like to see that fast pace too. You know?
Yeah.
And it is. I always tried to push that too, and because so much of basketball is just improvisation, and I mean, it's just you have players who can make plays, and maybe sometimes from odd angles, odd situations, but set offense is what we spend so much time on in practice.
Yeah.
But in my years coaching, it seemed like we probably would have been better off to think of some improvisational drills more and try to prepare them for that.
Yeah, I think we work a decent amount on what happens when the play breaks down. But you also have to have players who can go make plays. I think that's some of the biggest thing is finding guys who, when you need a basket, can go do what you want them to do, or they can create something that maybe only they can do. I mean, we had a guard this past year that, I mean, he was our leading assist guy, but he was also our leading scorer, and he was about 5'8", if that. And if we needed a bucket, Don could go get us a bucket like that. That's, you got to have one or two and three if you're going to be really, really good. But you have to have somebody like that can go make a play when it's needed.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's your big dog that you got to have that you can count on. You know, it comes down to.
Yeah,
it sure is good to have one of those around.
It is. It can't be a trick play every single time, and you're honestly, teams prep so much for what people run that just guys are so athletic that they close out so fast. Like if you're going to be able to get a shot off, you have to be able to score. So it all goes hand in hand. And there's nothing that's no Princeton offense. That's no motion offense. That's the basic, like the basicness of it is driving as hard as you can, staying in balance. And then if you have a shot, you take it. If somebody has a better shot, then you give it up to them.
That's a simple philosophy. If you're a coach out there listening, that is brilliant. That penetration breaks down the defense.
Yeah.
It sure does.
Yep.
Well, I don't know how much you guys have talked about philosophy and things like that of coach, but I know recruiting, especially at the Division II level, recruiting is very big. It's a little different now. We talked to Robert Moore from Columbus State last week, and it's a little different now with the NIL and with the transfer portals and all of that going on. But what have you seen change in the last few years as far as Division II level recruiting?
Well, I think, and Marty and I kind of touched on it a little earlier, but I think there's always like a mentor now. There's not really a parent that's involved so much as now there's a mentor, and it's really, the word agent isn't typically what you hear, but it's mentor, it's trainer, and all that kind of stuff. And like, can you take coaching? Because that, and most people that want to come to your school will say, yes, I can do that. Well, I've watched film and I've made sure that you can. So I'm just double checking on that. And then like, can you be a good teammate? Like that's really, really important for us, is because every day is not going to be your day. Like, and how good of a teammate are you when you're not scoring 20 points a game, or you're not getting the ball as much as you want to, or you're not getting playing time that you want to, is can you still be a good teammate? All those things go hand in hand. And then like, I want to compete every single day. Like our goal is honestly, like at the end of the day, we want to help to nurture good people, but we want to win some basketball games in the process. So can you come in and can you compete every day, no matter what? And in the classroom, in the weight room, in practice, and not just when the lights are bright and they're selling popcorn in the concession stand. Can you compete all the time? And those are non-negotiables for us. And I'm probably pretty tough because I want to compete. Like I want competitive practices, and I want to love on them as much as anybody, but you got to come in and you got to give everything you got. Because there's very, very few of them, if you count them up over the years of games, and they go by very quickly. So you gotta make sure you take advantage when you can.
Absolutely. And Coach, kind of fitting into the culture, how big is chemistry on your team amongst your players, and how do you foster building a chemistry on a team where you may have several new faces coming in, What kinds of things do you do to try to help form a good chemistry among all the teammates?
So this was something as a young head coach, and I'm way past that now. But as a young head coach, I always thought, well, everybody should get along 100% of the time. They don't all have to hang out after practice, outside of the gym, all that kind of stuff. I think honestly, how we do it is, and it starts with who you recruit. I've got a couple guys on our team that are amazing glue guys, and they are awesome at getting everybody involved, or trying to get everybody involved in just the little things that they do. Going out to eat together as a team, going and golfing as much as they can, going and fishing. We do try to take them bowling and different stuff like that. But I think it's always, and I told my wife this the other day, I'm always and always will, I will always recruit a glue guy or two glue guys or three glue guys that help with that culture. And I've got a couple of those on my team right now. And when they graduate, there's going to be some tears shed because they're really awesome guys, and they've really helped this culture here on guys understanding like what's expected, but also kind of bringing everybody together. And we play a lot. Like I want our new guys to get into the gym and play with our other guys. Like we really play to try to build that chemistry, but the off the court chemistry, honestly, it's kind of been out of my hands a little bit, and it's trusted on those guys that they love Shorter. Like they really truly love it, and they live it. Like they want to go to other sporting events, and they want to go to football and get after it and all that kind of stuff. They truly do love it. And that will be something that I'll have as part of my team forever, is guys that really do love it. They're the special ingredient.
I agree. When I look back on my years coaching, I don't necessarily think of victories and stuff like that. I think of things that happened that were funny or sad, or where everybody that were, things that were just real. And memories like that seem to be what stays in my mind more than accomplishments. Is it that way with you?
Yeah. It is. I mean, there's been so much like the ups and downs here, but you think about like just moments you've had of guys sharing different things about like what's going on outside of basketball. There's been so many of those in the last, just the 10 years that I've been here. Those are the things that you remember, and the relationships that you build. And it's not everybody. There's some that probably leave and think other things, but I mean, the last two guys, these last couple of years, the ones that are going overseas to play, they text you and say, thank you so much for the opportunity. And they probably could have gone somewhere else. Like really this past year, they're probably Division I players, and they stuck around, and because they loved each other, because they really kind of believed in what we were doing. But those will be guys that I'll like always remember. And like you said, it's moments, not necessarily the wins. And you'll remember the wins, but the moments are the big thing.
Yeah, Marty and I have a very good friend, very good mutual friend that coached women's basketball at Columbus State for many years, Jay Sparks. And he had back-to-back teams right at the turn of into 2001. He had two phenomenal women's teams that went to the Elite Eight in Division II, and one of those got into the semifinals. And something that he did that built that chemistry and got those guys getting along. Of course, he had the glue players like you're talking about.
Yeah.
But every day at practice, the first, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes they were there, he had them be at practice, had them be dressed and up on the floor. But that was their time. They spent time together on the floor, stretching, and it was a relaxed time where they could talk and they could joke with each other, and they could, talk about their stuff outside of basketball as they were getting ready for practice. And I think that was magic for those two teams because they had incredible chemistry on those teams. You know, the second one of those teams finished 31-1. Their first loss of the year was in the semifinals, and they lost to the eventual national champion. And but that chemistry was built, I think, during that time on the floor at the beginning of practice and also on game day. They got there early on game day.
Yeah.
You know, just doing little things like that. And I think that's huge in a successful program when you got, like you said earlier, you don't have to hang out together all the time. You don't have to go out to eat together every night. You don't have to do every single thing together. And sometimes there might be 2 or 3 people on there you really don't want to hang out with a lot. You know, I mean, you're going to have individual personalities on teams, but to develop a chemistry where you have each other's back in that game and you know each other a little bit better than just knowing that girl wears number 21 or that guy wears number 5, you know, and he's from so-and-so. You kind of need to know a little bit more about those guys, about each other. And when you build that chemistry, you know, I don't know about you, but I've found that teams that have that tend to be more successful in terms of wins and losses. And it's really important.
Well, I think too, like when you have those teams, the ultimate like gel is winning or competing. Like you should, if you're recruiting the right people, and that's always the hope of every coach is you're recruiting the right people, is they should have the same mindset. So I'm coming in to compete, and we want to be successful. So I think like if you can find that, like that's the basis of it, and then you kind of build off of that. Is hopefully everybody's got the same mindset. You're going to have 1 or 2 that want to do kind of things their own way, and those ones typically don't last. But like the really, really good teams, they all have that same mindset. I mean, it kind of like you watched the New York Knicks this year. Like that whole team, there was nothing about one of those guys. Like nobody, like Jalen Brunson was probably the one that got the most publicity, but he just wanted to win. And I think the rest of those guys they wanted to win, and they made sacrifices, and they cheered their teammates on, and they all had the same goal. And that was very evident the way that they played.
Yeah. You had a really great bunch. And I taught about, I guess 4 or 5 of those guys in class, you know, and they were just, that was a special bunch of guys you had. Fortunately, a lot of them are coming back. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah. I'm trying to, as a coach, because you're coming off a year where that team was probably one of the most successful that we've had, and you're filling in some of those like specialty spots, like starting point guard and different things like that. So you want to. I've got to do a little bit more coaching this year, because that group last year, they knew everybody. I think we had 12 guys back. Like they knew what was expected. And so our returners, it's going to be crucial that they help this new group of 8 coming in to help them understand. But I'm going to have to do a little bit more coaching and teaching this year than I did last year, because of just to kind of help them to understand. But I'm going to miss the group that we have that's graduating. They've been a special group, and they'll continue to be. But yeah, it'll be interesting coming into this year. And we've got an entirely new coaching staff. I'll have a new assistant, new grad assistant, and I think that's kind of one of the big things. One of the things that was said last year after our season was the coaches have really good chemistry, and I loved Austin and Jalen for what they were able to do, and now they've moved on to kind of do something else. And so it's teaching my assistants kind of what's expected too. So there's a lot more. I'm going to put my teacher hat on this year a little bit more, and kind of help everybody along.
Mm-hmm. Hey, can I interrupt this program to just say one thing? Mike, that background that you have there, that thing is pretty, man. Where are you sitting? You look like
I'm
you're
at,
in Yellowstone Park or something.
I'm actually on my back patio, looking back to my fence back there in my storage building. So, and that pine tree is right behind my storage building. And the way the sky is right now, it is a pretty cool little background. So
You look like
makes it
Charlton
pretty.
Heston or something. Sitting, man.
That's funny.
Sorry about that.
But Coach, something that we talk about with just about every guest that we have, whether they're in coaching or whether they're in business or whatever the case, how important is the faith element in what you do every day?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do this without the Lord opening the doors and providing for me. There's no way that I would be able to, because it takes prayer, it takes communication and talking with Him. But my faith is the most important thing to me in my relationship with the Lord. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it without Him.
Mm-hmm. And we talked last week with Robert Moore as Robert had a player that was diagnosed with a form of cancer very early on last year and wasn't able to play. And we talked about some leadership that he had on his team that was not only a good team leadership, but also spiritual leadership. One player in particular really took up that banner, and he actually brought 3 or 4 players with him to my church that I go to, and I would see them every Sunday. And he spearheaded that spiritual aspect. And one of the players that came to church just about every Sunday was the kid who was diagnosed with cancer. And he was able to fully recover. He's going to be able to play this year. But it is always great when you have a player who can not only be a leader but a spiritual leader on the floor and off the floor for your team. And how big is that when you can find one of those?
Oh, that's huge. I mean, we're required to have a team chaplain. It's always been great for us. Ours is our former campus minister. He does a great job. But if you can find a player that not only is a good leader, but will be your spiritual leader, I think that's really rare and hard to find. And that is, like we tell our guys all the time, is like take ownership in this. But if somebody can take ownership in trying to bring the people closer to the Lord or to be a good witness to them, that's even harder. I mean, I think that would be amazing to find. I've got a couple guys, and honestly, some of my glue guys that they're a little bit more quiet with that, but they do have that good, solid relationship with the Lord. And that's something that we encourage is them to be vocal about it. Like in our devotions that we do on road trips is I want them to see that they can share that stuff and not be intimidated by it or not be shy about it. And I think it helps being at a school that like ours. But I want them to understand that as they grow as a Christian and as a man.
Yeah, because that's really, I'm like you, Coach. It's the most important thing we do. We're coaching for a more eternal purpose. We can get caught up so much in winning games, but it just seems to me like the long view of their lives. One time, someone asked Joe Ehrmann, in the book Season of Life, remember? Someone asked him, how's your team going to be? And his answer was, I don't know. I'll tell you in 20 years. And so I know you and your character, your heart. That's the same view you have, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I would love it, for them to come back, or for me to see in a couple years that they've turned into great husbands and great fathers and great leaders. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. And then if they've found a relationship with the Lord, I think that's the pinnacle of it. But I think you're all right. We all want to win, but we're here to mentor and to help people to grow and get through a major part of their life. I mean, this is what, 18 to 23. That's a huge growth time in young men's lives. I mean, they can make decisions that can affect like the rest of their lives right now. And I'm excited to see like the growth in them years down the road.
I think sometimes that we all had to make decisions, the biggest decisions in our life, when we were the least ready to make them, and do you think that the coach is there like that father figure in this crucial time in their life when they're thinking about their future and their purpose? Do you view yourself as an agent to help them there?
I would hope like that. That's my hope. I want to try to have the relationship with them that they feel comfortable enough to be able to come to me, to talk to me about different things in their lives. But it's also, I think it's my purpose to help them to get prepared for that future. And I think it's a lot of little things. So outside of their spiritual growth, it's being on time and being respectful to the people around them and working hard, because those are things that help them to be good employees and good bosses and good husbands and good fathers down the road. Just the little things. And then obviously, like I said, the biggest thing is just helping them in their walk with the Lord or their understanding of their faith.
Coach, you mentioned something a little bit ago, and it's something that spurred. We've talked about this with several people too that we've had on here. You mentioned that you encourage guys to be a little bit more vocal with their faith and to be willing to share. And there's been a trend, the last 2 or 3 years, that for a long time it was almost taboo to talk about your faith. The cancel culture was so big that it was almost kind of taboo to mention your faith. And you had a few athletes that would do it when they were interviewed after games and things like that. They would give credit to Christ first, and they would talk about that, but they were kind of spread out. It was real sporadic. But the last couple of years, there's been more and more coaches and athletes and even administrators who have been vocal about their faith and who have been unafraid and unashamed to talk about their faith when they've got a microphone in front of them, whether it's a post-game press conference, whether it's a media day, whether it's just a regular interview with maybe a news station or something like that. They're very vocal about their faith. And, in noticing that, I've always been curious, what spurred that? What spurred that movement? Because there's been a big movement on college campuses. People are getting baptized and students are becoming more and more involved in faith endeavors. And I'm just curious what's your idea on what has happened the last couple of years to try to start this trend moving in that direction?
I don't know if I could put a finger on it. I mean, I think obviously the Lord, he works, and people who are like willing to be vocal, I think that just helps everybody else, like to say, well, that person did it. Why can't I? I mean, I watched watching a show on Netflix about quarterbacks, and Kirk Cousins on Netflix says he's talking about his relationship with the Lord, and that he is just a vessel that the Lord uses to be a testimony, and he's saying that on something that's going out into the entire world. So I think it's people who are confident in what they believe, who have they have no fear, and they just want to share it with people. And I think that just makes anybody else who has that faith, I think it makes them more comfortable that they can share. And I think it's huge. I mean, honestly, the Lord can use any situation to influence people or to get his word out there. And I think it's amazing they're not afraid of who they are and like who they represent.
Hey, Wade, I just want to thank you. We're about to wrap it up here. You know, you and I have made this good friendship, and it's been good. It's been good for me, and you've really helped me. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you. And before Mike asks you this, is the last question. We always end on the same question. But if you're out there listening to the show, you couldn't play for a better man than this guy right here. And I've been around 53 years in this game and coached basketball for a long time. But if you're a young man and you want to play college basketball, you need to check in on Coach Wade Anderson. He is that kind of guy who makes a difference in your life. So I just want to plug you for that, Coach. You keep doing what you're doing, man. God's using you, and you're making a difference in the lives of these kids.
Well, thank you. I've appreciated our relationship too. I mean, you've been great to be able to come and talk to, and we're glad to have you down in the coaching world, back at it. I know in a different sport, but you've been great for me. And now we are CPR certified and first aid certified as of yesterday or the day before. So we're grateful to do some different stuff.
We are.
I bet that was a fun class.
A long class, yeah. It was long.
Yeah. Well, Coach, we always ask this question of everybody we have on, no matter what endeavor they're involved in. And you being in your capacity and your position, I'm sure you've had this question asked of you by young men or young women who've gotten to know you a little bit. But if you have a young man or a young woman come to you and tell them that they really would like to get into coaching, really would like to become a coach, and they just want to get some ideas and some pointers on things some important things, 2 or 3 important things that they need to do as they pursue that endeavor of coaching, what are some things you might present to them?
It's a really good question. It's something I talk to my assistants about all the time. And I've been asked this before, and it was something that I've had former coaches that I've worked for before share with me. Like, you've got to put some time into it. Like, it can't be a part-time thing. Like, you have to be all in. And I think like learning and understanding and reading and talking to people who have kind of been through it before, like kind of understanding, like getting an understanding of what you're doing, but also meeting as many people in your profession as you can. I mean, I think going out, I tell my assistants all the time, you go out recruiting, you talk to the other coaches in the stands. You are at games. You meet those young assistants. You shake hands with the head coaches. You really spend time networking yourself. And then I think the biggest thing is the relationship with the players. If you can really like build those relationships with those players. I mean, that's why we're coaching in the first place is them. So really working on that relationship and how you deal with them, how you talk to them, allowing yourself to be available to them. All those things are good steps in the process, and those are all free. So, I mean, those are things that you don't have to pay for to really kind of get into the coaching side. I was one, I didn't have, like, my dad wasn't a basketball coach. And so I didn't have the, hey, here's some help getting a GA position somewhere. I was a volunteer GA, and I really had to like do the work to be able to get anywhere. And I like I've told a lot of people, I always appreciate a journey. And this journey as a coach it is a journey for sure.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah, well said. And Coach, we appreciate you joining us again. I'm sorry I was a little tardy being able to get here today, but it is the beginning of the year, and those of us who are involved in broadcasting and things like that, you know, that's my little side gig. And we had our big meeting today because a week from Friday, I guess we have our first real high school football games around here, and This week we have softball and volleyball and all that's getting started with the high schools. And so we're doing a little planning meeting today, and it ran a little longer than we anticipated it would. And I apologize for that, but I'm glad to be able to spend some time with you, and congratulations on what you've done so far at Shorter and building up that program. I know you had a great year last year, and you play in a tough conference. And one of the best conferences in Division II, as a matter of fact. And being a coach at that level is not all glamour and glitz all the time. And it's you have to put the work in. If you're going to be successful, you really have to put the work in. And you don't have some of the fringes that the bigger schools have around the country, but seeing guys who do it right and who are building young men, not just winning basketball games, but building young men in the process, it makes you feel good that's going on, and we appreciate that by all means. That's what Marty and I are here for with this podcast, is to try to help other people who are looking around trying to pick up information on how to be successful and how to do things the right way. We love having people like you who are doing it the right way, to help give them that example. And we appreciate you being here.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I enjoy it. I enjoy the conversations. So I love talking basketball and about my faith and everything else. It's never an issue.
We'll have you back again, man. You're the perfect guest.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, Marty, it's come to the end of another one here as we are speeding through 2026. Cannot believe it's already August. Today's we're right here at the beginning of a new month, and a lot going on as things are about to get cranked up in both high school and college level.
Yes, sir.
We're going to keep everybody in our prayers as this year started. The teachers, the principals, the school administrators, the coaches, the assistant coaches, the support staff, those all important cafeteria folks, because they're going to be getting it cranked up again, because that's really important on all campuses, not just college campuses. Just keep everybody involved in education at all levels in your prayers as this new year starts. That we want to read more stories about people who are influencing for the right ways and the right things and the good things, and way less about people who are not doing it the right way or who are caught up in a controversy or something like that. And we're going to pray that happens as we go along, and we're going to wish everybody the best, and we're going to keep you in our prayers and pray that you will keep your eyes on the author and perfecter of our faith as you start this year, because if you do that, you're going to stay on track. And that's the one way to stay on track as you go through any day of life. So we thank you as always for joining us. As Marty and I always say every week, look this podcast up, share it with people, tell people about it, contact us on our social media pages at Step Up Make a Difference on Instagram and Facebook. Look us up, give us comments, give us feedback, give us guest ideas, and help us spread this as we go along. And get it out to as wide an audience as we can, because the more people we can help, if we help one person a week, that's worth it. Makes this worth it every time. And always remember that as you go about your daily task, there's always going to be an opportunity for you to step up and make a difference. All you have to do is be willing to do that, and go ahead and take that first step, and you'll be glad you did. And you'll end up making a difference in this world. For Marty Durden, for Coach Wade Anderson this week, we will see you next time, and may God bless you in everything that you do.